biggest thing I think he wanted. Oh, I just don't want to go off where I don't know what's going on. I just want to keep my mind. And guess what? He did to the last day. He knew exactly what was going on. We prayed, everybody prayed for him to be healed, and I think it just hit all of a sudden that everybody said, this ain't the direction it's going to go, so we started praying for the more indirect thing. He had a lot of pain. So we prayed for the pain to back off a little bit, and guess what? It did. We prayed for him to keep his mind, and it worked. We prayed for a lot of different things, and I started seeing that where this was going was he's getting used by somebody, because there's a lot of things he couldn't do, but as far as Sunday, he goes, I got to get up here. I got to get up here. So he was here every Sunday until right there at the last. And he was letting God use him. God knows us better than we know ourselves. That's one thing I learned. He knows what we need. God knew how to reach me. And I guess at that time, he reached me through Dad. Because I guess he knew that was the way to get to me. By using my dad in the way he did, he actually mended, he cured, and he made whole. Not only me, but a lot of people. And you remember what that meant. So, I guess sometimes not taking away his cancer is the way it was God's way of getting to me and using Dad. I walked in one day, and a lot of days I'd walk in after work down there at Dad's, and he'd be on his knees praying. And I usually just stood there at the door until he got done. And I walked in one evening, and I kind of listened to him. And he was telling God, just use him. Just use me, Lord. However you see fit, however I could glorify the Lord. He said, just use me. And I thought, well, that's pretty good. So I found out later that how he used him. He used him on me. He used him on a lot of people. And as I kept moving around, not just talking to the people here that knew him, some of my friends that got to know him, he touched them. He touched a lot of people, and it wasn't Dad touching them. God was working through him to touch them. He was actually using my dad to heal people and to heal himself. With the prayer, it was so easy. It took me a while to understand that, but when we prayed for the pain to back off, the pain backed off. He just wanted it to be taller. He didn't ask God to take it plumb away. He just said, could you make it taller? And he did. He gave him comfort when he needed comfort. He gave him something else that actually, it come to me. God gave him the gift of joy to make it through this journey. And that gift of joy, buddy, that one hit me, and anybody that knows me probably knows because they heard me harp on it. And that's the way with Dad's story, I don't want to use it because sometimes I think I burn people out. But everybody in here, if God's ever used somebody to touch your life or to change your life, I bet you'd talk about it as much as I'm talking about this. Because this changed my life. This journey with him changed my life. I had no idea I'd go in this direction whatsoever. So, he gave him the gift of joy, which I didn't know what joy was either, just about like text. I didn't know what text was. I didn't know what joy was. I knew joy looked good on a wall. But I actually learned what joy meant. I walked out of the house one day and I turned back around. Every time I shut the back door and Dad'd be sitting there in his chair, I'd look back at him and he'd be sitting there going, he'd smile, wave at me. And I'd wave at him and I'd move on. But one night, something just didn't feel right. I moved back at the door after a little bit. I moved back, and I could see the pain. Oh, buddy, he's hurt bad tonight. So I went back in there, and I said, hey, you having a bad night, ain't you? And he said, yeah. I said, pain's really bad. He said, it's bad tonight. He said, I got joy. I said, well, no, you don't. You can't have joy and that much pain and this much wrong with you. He said, oh, yes, I can. I said, no, you can't. He said, yes, I can. He said, I can have joy. And I might not like what's going on, but I can have joy. Well, anyway, that was another hour or so that I stayed there because I got told how joy was. That's something everybody needs to keep. You know, when I start talking about different things and I start doing different things like this, I bounce around. And you're probably all sitting there thinking, oh, yeah, you did. That's me. Becky's like, when I get done talking a lot of times, she goes, now you got to go back and finish. What do you mean by this? Finish this. I'm sure I did that today. I got to the end, and Pastor Kevin, you know, when we was kind of trained how to do all this stuff, they say you're supposed to have at least 3 points. I got to the end of this, and I was like, what in the world? What is my point? So I went back over, and I got 7 points. And you're thinking, no, you don't. Well, I might have not. And that might be stuck a little bit up here still. If it didn't come out, them 7, then it got stuck up there in my head. But I'm going to tell you, if you didn't hear anything I said so far, you didn't understand it, you didn't hear it, you don't have a clue of what in the world he's talking about, I got 7 points here. I'm going to read them off to you, and if you take 1 point home with you and use it, think about it, or whatever, if you take one of them 7, that's why I gave you 7. I thought I'd give you a whole bunch of choices. But there's 7 points here I actually wanted to hit on. You're probably going to think about it a little later, and you're like, yeah, you kind of hit on that one. Yeah, maybe a little on that one. Well, I got to, trying to end this fairly early so Jerry can get out of here on time. I know. But, so I'm going to read you the 7 points. And you can think back of, did he hit that one? I don't know. But it don't matter if I hit him or not. Listen to these 7 points and see if you want to use them or you can't use them. But some of them's little, some of them's big, but it takes the little, the big, all combined to make a good point. It takes the little things and the big things to make it through things. You've got to put it all together. So my point, one of my points, my first point was we should all be God's servants. Did I hit that? I'm not sure. I thought I did. I wrote down over here. Number 2, state of mind is a big factor of healing. And you're probably thinking, state of mind. Well, state of mind is a big factor of healing. It means we all need to believe and have the faith in Jesus Christ because He's the one that heals. So that's what I mean by state of mind. Number 3, living for God, living in His Word, witnessing to others in prayer. That covers a whole bunch of things. That's a good number 3. And I think I hit some of that. Number 4, we need to read our Bible and really listen to God's Word. And I kind of told you that in a way because I told you I was studying, and that's what hit me. So, but it works for you too. If you read your Bible and really listen to what God's saying, He's put all the answers there I found out. You might have to read it a few times, but you're going to get some answers. Number 5, sometimes answers come in an unsuspecting way. Or better yet, it's in God's way, not ours. Number 6, this is one of them that I found to be true, very true. Answers can come late. They're not going to come just when you think you want them. They'll come later. Because with Dad, once that was all taken care of and done, he's passed away. I mean, everybody knows you got all the mess to do with everything else. And after that was all done, and you're still trying to do your own thing. And I don't know, just started getting answers. Little things started happening. Little things started kind of popping up. And so I started getting answers. But the biggest thing, I was looking for them. Because I kept thinking, where's the answers to this? What's the reason? So I was looking. So we need to be looking. Number 7, last one. So don't be upset or worried because things didn't go your way. A lot of us do that. I mean, if that person died and we was upset and we blamed God for it, we could drift away. We could go in a really bad direction and miss. We could just miss why God did things the way He did. And we don't want to do that. I could have been upset. I could have been brewing on it, and I could be blaming God, and I wouldn't have been here. I would have been in a totally different direction. But I paid attention to why all of it happened the way it did, and I'm still getting answers. That's the thing. You continue to get answers. It's all in God's time. It's not ours. There's one thing that happened right when Dad passed away. And a lot of you are probably sitting there thinking, if I'm going to tell you this, and it happened to me. I know what happened. It doesn't really matter if anybody believes me or not. I know what happened. I know what I felt. I didn't understand it at the time, but it was cool. The day he passed away, he raised up in that bed, he coughed, he laid back down. I looked at my wife and she said, he's gone. It was that quick and that good. And that's what I felt. I felt good. It wasn't a relief that I don't have to take care of him, that I wasn't upset. I was happy. I felt wonderful. And I didn't understand why, but it was the biggest peace over me. But I did stand there looking at him, and I was trying to just kind of numb, and it was weird. It was like somebody walked up, just put their arm around my shoulder. And I looked because I thought she did. But I could feel somebody's arm go around my shoulder, and it was just like I could hear somebody saying, it's okay. It's all good. It's okay. You're going to be fine. And you're probably all sitting there thinking, oh, that was your dad. No, it wasn't. That was God. That wasn't my dad. God come in there and said, hey, buddy, you're going to be all right. You'll be all right. You listened. So that's happened twice. The second time was right in this. Like I said, this has been a horrible year. And I've kind of been fighting, struggling a lot of things to keep my head from being mad at different things and being upset. And I think I've done pretty good. I've done pretty good. But trying to write this, I've really had a time and my focus. That's the biggest thing. Haven't been able to focus on this. Like I said, this has been everywhere. I really rode around in the combine with me. And kept reading it. You know, you got to kind of make sure you're still in rows. This year it didn't really matter because there wasn't that much there. I took it to work, and them guys were like, what are you doing? And it's like, I don't know. I'm working on it, but it ain't coming. Tool shed. Tool shed is a wonderful place for me. Becky tells me that's, if I'm out in the tool shed and I come in, she goes, what are you doing out there? What are you piddling on? I'm piddling? I'm not piddling. She said, that's your piddle shed. It's like, that's not my piddle shed. It's my thinking shed now. It might have been, but it's my thinking shed now. Because I just got done feeding the cows and everything, and come back to the tool shed, and I flipped the bucket over, and I sit down on the bucket. And yeah, we're big bucket people. You know, we talk a lot on buckets. That's our chairs. But I was sitting there on the bucket, and I thought, Lord, help me with this. And Jim Davison just keeps popping up. You scare me. And I kept thinking, I'm scaring me now. And I asked the Lord, I said, Lord, help me with this. I'm lost. And I felt somebody's arm go around my shoulder. You can laugh all you want. Because there's nobody else out in the tool shed but me. And I was sitting there and I kind of looked and I thought, wow, that felt weird. And it was just like, are you ready now? Have you took the time now? Now we're going to work on it. Now we're going to get it done. And it's like, and a lot of you, oh, your dad? No, I wasn't that again. That was Jesus. He sat down on the bucket to talk to me. And I thought, cool, he knows how to get through to me too. So I thought that was amazing. And I thought, it's amazing what you experience if you just take the time and let him open it up, ask him. It's simple. There's one other thing that I want you to remember these points, and I want you to think about them points. And I wish I would have given this to Kevin so he could have wrote them down for you to look at them every once in a while. I should have, as a beginner again. But I'm going to give you a little challenge. And I want every one of you out here to do this. Because I had to. I want everybody to pick a topic in the Bible. And I want you all to write a sermon. You don't have to get up here and do it. See, you guys got it made. But I'm giving everybody a month. And I want you to just pick a topic. It can be any topic through the Bible. But I want you to actually spend a little time. And as Kevin says, it doesn't have to be very long. It just has to have a point. But I want you all to try this one time. Just really one time, try it. Pick a topic, write a sermon. Sit down and take the time and do your digging and write a sermon. If you don't get anything else out of it, you're going to appreciate that pastor right there. You really will. Because it's tough. But it's rewarding. That's one thing I've found out. It's as you write one, it's like, wow, I've done more digging than I ever have and than I ever would. So I'm learning along the way. But that's just, I'm just offering you a challenge there. Everybody ought to try that one time. Just one time. You don't have to get up and read it to anybody. You don't have to preach it to anybody. You can get in front of a mirror and do it to yourself. You know, read your sermon to yourself. You can read it to your spouse. You can read it to your dog. My dog really heard a lot of these. But just try it once. I think you're going to learn something about yourself. I think you'll grow. I think you'll actually appreciate things more. But what I want to leave you with is 7 points. And all I want you to do is just take one. If you remember one point, that's great.